The letter had been oddly persuasive, though she could not recall the organiser, not a face, not a voice. The list of those attending was enough to convince her. Names she had not spoken in years, people she remembered vividly enough to trust the invitation. So she went, boarding the small boat at dusk as the tide began its retreat, revealing the narrow causeway like a path reluctantly offered. When she finally stepped onto solid ground, the air felt different, thinner somehow, charged, and the silence that greeted her seemed less like emptiness than anticipation, as though the island had been waiting for them all to arrive. The door opened before she could knock, and to her relief, a tall, handsome figure stood framed in the shadows. His black tailcoat was immaculate, his white shirt starched to perfection. The precision of his posture was quintessentially that of an English butler. Shoulders back, hands folded lightly in front, every movement measured, as if rehearsed for decades. As she followed, the house seemed to settle around them, exhaling cold draughts and creaking faintly beneath their steps. The interior was beautifully designed, with luxurious soft furnishings, the latest fabrics, and finished with an eclectic taste in antiquities. Christina was quite the connoisseur, having grown up in a similar environment. She felt a flicker of calm at the sound of laughter drifting from somewhere ahead, a warm, familiar sound, though tempered by the strange stillness of the house. She allowed herself a small, reassuring smile as Montesquieu guided her down the hallway, his hand lightly on the small of her back, directing her with quiet authority. Yet, beneath that fleeting comfort, a subtle unease lingered, like a shadow clinging just beyond the reach of the firelight. Montesquieu's measured movements were a tether of order in the shifting gloom. With each deliberate step, he threaded a calm through the room's restless shadows, a presence both reassuring and unnervingly aware, as if he saw far more than the eyes of any guest could perceive. Christina found herself both soothed and unsettled by him, the contrast sharpening the tension in the hall, warmth and dread interlaced in every echo of their footsteps. The drawing room was larger than she had expected, the walls lined with dark wood panels that seemed to absorb the fading light from the tall windows. A fire crackled in the hearth, but its warmth barely reached the corners, where shadows lingered like silent spectators. The other guests were already there, arranged in small clusters, their faces lit by the fire's flicker. She recognized them instantly, names she had smiled over in memory, friends and acquaintances from a distant past, but they all seemed different. Their expressions carried a strange stillness, a kind of expectancy, as though they had been waiting for her long before the island even existed. I hope you'll join me tomorrow for another reading from my book of short stories. Until then, sweet dreams.